Hi, I'm ilabasmati, and today the topic is the two ambassadors, a very famous pictures of the 16th century. The author is Hans Holbein, in German. Hans Holbein, the young son of Hans Holbein, the old. Well, Hans Holbein the Young was one of the best portrait artists of the German Renaissance. I'm eating herd. Well, and along with such artists as Albrecht Dürer, 1471, 1528, helped to enrich later the German Gothic art. Simplified by the work of Matthias Grunewald, of course, with the more progressive figure of the Florentine Renaissance, 1400, 1500, 400. During his early period in Basel, 1515 to 1526, he produced a lot of pictures of art ranging from large format mythological painting, protest art, Reformation, because it's the time of Lutero, Henry VIII, was the chaos, to woodcut and miniature painting. But is the portrait tour created during his time in England, 1528 to 1526 to 1528, the first time, and the second time is 1532, 1543, for which he's the most famous. He was an absolute master of drawing, and his portraits were admired by contemporaneous and the true-to-life character. In fact, it's largely because of Holbein's pictures that we have a visual record of the celebrity of the days, including Desiderius Erasmus of Rotterdam, 1469, 1536, Sir Thomas More, 1478 to 1535, Thomas Cromwell, the very famous Thomas Cromwell, like Thomas More, 1485 to 1540, and to, of course, the King Henry VIII, that reigned 1509 to 1547, almost 30 years more or less. Well, furthermore, to the endless movement to scholar and art historian, Holbein's enacts his portraits with numerous symbols, allusion, and ironic motifs. Yes, all the paint of the pictures of today are mysterious. It's a joke from of the painter. Well, the ambassador is the painting of today, was painting during Holbein's second stay in England, 1532 to 1543, that he died in England, in London, which coincided with Henry VIII's bricks with Rome's. Yes, the disaster. Over Henry VIII is married with the widow of his elder brother. It was a tradition for the Middle Age. And he wanted a son, and has a daughter. A son because he's before has been the civil war of the Lancaster against the War of the Rose, Lancaster against Yorkshire, and then England is broken, and then he want a strong only one state, and he want a son for a king. Well, and then he against with Rome, and has a lot of problem. Well, over his decision to annul his marriage with Catherine of Aragon, the sister of Philip II of Spain, and the formation of the English Protestant Church, and he at the top, as well as being painted to the king. Holbain also portrayed numerous noblemen and women, clergymen, landowners. In English is landlords, not landowner, and statesmen. 100 years later, the equally short-lived Flemish virtuoso Anthony van Dyck, 1599-1641, will repeat Holbein's example experience and settle in England as court painting of Charles Charles I, 1649. One, a good collector of art. At the end, all his painting was seller to other kingdom. One of the greatest portrait paintings by Holbein during his second visit to England was the Ambassador's very famous pictures as a life-size double portrait of the wealthy landowner Jean de Dinterville. Jean de Dinterville was has a castle in Champagne in France. He lived 51 years, and is the son 19. How is possible? Well, Jean de Dinterville, ambassador of the King of France, Francisco I of France in French, I don't know how is the name. In Spanish is Francisco I, Francisco I, and his friend George XII, Bishop of Le Bourg, that lived 31 years. 1508 to 1541. The works is suffused with hidden meaning and symbolic feature in the best tradition of the Northern Renaissance, that is different at the South, and later it's a memento mori. Memento mori in Latin means that in the future will die old. More or less. It's vanitas in Latin too. Don't forget that we are going to die old. A painting of the 17th century. The work was commissioned by the Jean de Dinterville for his castle, the young ambassador, to commemorate the visit to London of his friend, the self in French, who incidentally is not wearing episcopal robes because he was not actually consecrated until the following year. In the Catholic religion, nobody can be a bishop until 25 years. But the first song was the powers, and the second song was the power in the church, and then for him is Richard with only 20 years old. is not common, but his family was very powerful in France. Well, the two young men are powerful, the two young ambassadors. The two men were on a tricky and ultimate unsuccessfully diplomatic mission, secret mission, to heal the rift between Henry VIII and the Church of Rome. Hence his plural name, the ambassadors. It may be, therefore, that the main theme of the painting, namely that no amount of material wealth, power, or learning can prevent death, was Holbein's, meaning Thomas Cromwell, way of saying that no man, including the Pope, has any real power to halt what was inevitable, the die. In this case, the inevitable was the Henry's decision to create his own church. Henry VIII. As well as being a portrait, the ambassador is also still life, painting feature numerous meticulously rendered objects. Of course, many 16th century portraits of learned men contain objects that reflect their occupation and interest, but Holbein's pictures is particularly impressive owing to his extraordinary attention to details and the shares among the information of it contains. It shows quite clearly that as well as Gothic and Renaissance art, Holbein's was also strongly influenced by the meticulously realism on early Flemish painting, exemplified by Jan van Eyck and Robert Camping, the master of Flamel. I have been talking about them before. Last month. Well, the depiction of the two figures is both technically brilliant and symbolic a lot. The Dintelbill on the left is dressed in luxurious secular clothes and a meticulously rendered heavy black coat lined with lynx fur over a pink silk tunic. On his hat is the image of a skull, his personal insignia, which is undoubtedly a memento mori. Memento mori is in the future all we are going to die or will die. Well, in Latin, the translation, the literal translation, well, the bishop and classical scholar George VII is dressed in less ostentatious clerical clothes. Significantly, his stance is less assertive than that is his colleague, and he actually occupies less space in the picture frame. Some experts also point to the Dintelbill's secular roots and the Self's clerical roots as symbolizing the dysfunctional nature of the alliance between France and the Vatican, as well as the general conflict, which is the conflict which is between the Church of Pope and State Henry VIII. In addition, the image of the lute with a broken string lower self is a popular symbol of discord, either reinforcing the idea of conflicts between England and Rome or alluding to the continual schism between Protestant and Catholic. Well, the setting for the portrait is an area of relatively shadow depth curtained by the green colors decorated with complex heraldic style work. The floor is covered with mosaic tiles based on the design of the Italian design of Cosmati, but it's not Italian. It's from Byzantium, cosmetic pavement, but in Europe is the name. In front of the high altar is the Westminster Abbey, suggesting the paramount nature of the English liturgy. Laid out on the two shelves standing between the two figures are numerous other objects with which they and their era are associated. Future mixture or navigational, astrological, and musical instruments. They include two globes, one celestial and one terrestrial, and quadrant, torquetum, and polyhedral sandia, and T-square, and German math books, and a Lutheran hymn book. On the surface, the painting seems to be a glorification of man's achievement until it becomes aware of the meanings of the blurred diagonal shapes image hovering just above the floor. Holbain has deliberately distorted the image so that its meaning only becomes evident when his viewers from high up of the right side of the low down of the left side. When seen from this angle, this anamorphic image is immediately recognizable as a human skull, the age-old reminder, death, and the fundamentally transitory nature of the human values. Why Holbein gave it such a prominence is unclear. It has been suggests that the painting was intended to hang its stairwell so that anyone ascending the stair and passing the painting of their left would be shocked by the sudden appearance of the skull. Also, the ambassador is a clear reminder of the human mortality as a state which overrides all else. Master is not pessimistic pictures, because tucked away in the top left corner is a crucifix, a clear symbol that faith in Jesus Christ help us to escape death and secure everlasting salvation. Well, at the end, only told you that there are another portraits of Hans Holbein the Young, Robert Chusman in 1533, Mauritius The Hague, William Requesner in the Royal Collection, Sir Brian Tuke, National Gallery, Art Washington, Charles de Solier, Sur de Morat, in German Gallery, Art Meister, Dresden, and Derek Berg, Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Well, thanks for all. This is my cat, Red. Thanks for all for paying attention. And well, until tomorrow, an architect. Bye.